Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well. And thank you for joining me again live in the garage. I'm sorry, but I got caught out by this comment. Andy, you got your timing about right. Paul, absolutely OAP 66. I was aware that he was going on with Sarah White from Epping at 9 o'clock, and I thought I can't have it where we're treading on each other's toes. That's too important, and he needs to get as much exposure to Sarah as he possibly can. So that's why I've come on at the time I have. Thank you very much for joining me, everybody. Now, what we're going to talk about, this actual live stream, this is the thumbnail for it. We have Dangerous Act, and the title is Starmer's Dangerous Decision. Now, one of the things that Paul was talking about in his live stream with Sarah is, what the bloody hell are this lot up to? Are they really trying to yank our chain, as the saying goes, wind us all up? It's like a pressure cooker waiting to go off, isn't it? When Angela Rayner was out on her elbow the other day, bless her ginger cotton socks, we had a situation where there was a cabinet reshuffle. And the reason I say dangerous decisions is the nature of the people that have occupied certain positions, certain offices of state. And the one I want to talk about this evening is this lady. We all know who this is, Shabina Mahmood, the new Home Secretary, a devout Muslim, as you can see. And, you know, looking back on the track record in government, I have to wonder what the hell's going on. Why are we in this situation? Now, when you're a Home Secretary, when you're in charge of not only the security of our country, but also the borders, law enforcement, keeping decent law and order, I have to wonder why somebody occupying that position, that office of state, turns up online and on news sites with pictures like this. This is wholly inappropriate. We shouldn't have a position in our country where this sort of thing is happening by those who are in government. Yes, everybody has freedom of speech. Yes, everybody has the right to go out there and protest. But I have two problems with this: the individual, and you know what is represented there, and also the cause. You know, this is England. This is the island of Britain. These are problems. And why is all of this within our government? Now, we've got David Lammy as well, and we have the situation where he's not very good at mastermind. I showed that video the other day, and all these people, it just seems like incompetence. And they are deliberately trying to push everybody's buttons. I don't know what everybody else thinks about this. Leave it in the comments. But there's a video I want to play first and foremost, and it's this one. It's only about 20 seconds.
Itself, Islam, my own religion, like a lot of practicing Muslims, my faith is the most important thing in my life. It is the absolute driver of everything that I do. I feel a very strong calling of my own conscience, and my conscience calls me to God. That is how I know.
I mean, she's entitled to, you know, believe who she wants to believe. She's entitled to worship who she wants to worship. I mean, I understand that when she swore into Parliament, actually went in and swore in, she swore an oath on the Quran. I don't know about anybody else, but I have a problem with that. You know, it's the Parliament of a Christian country, and it should be the Bible. She's not the only one. I've seen this happen with many of them in that place, and it's been allowed to happen. It's absolutely out of control, crazy, I'm afraid. And of course, she's got problems that she's come into contact with by nature of the job, and she brings other problems with her. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the small boats. And I'll show you this website here. It's an interesting statistic. You'll have to pardon me, my throat. It's a bit dry and it's making me sound a bit croaky. I am aware of it. You know, this is the catalogue of small boat arrivals taken off of the government website that monitors them all. 1,097 migrants on the 6th of September, over 1,000 in one day across 17 boats. That's a bit of a problem, isn't it, Home Secretary? And the next day, 7th of September, 65 migrants. It might be because the weather was crap. But Paul Thorpe pointed out something twice today, actually. Once in a video this morning and also in his chat with Sarah White before I came online. And that is the fact, why don't we stop our boats going out to meet their boats? Would that be something? And then we see what happens. Why do we have a situation in this country where there seems to be quite a steady stream of them unimpeded? And then you look at our streets, you look at the situation in Epping and other places like it. What is going on there? Why is this being allowed to happen? It's awful, absolutely awful. I mean, Blue Angel sums it up well right there. What do you expect? And meanwhile, we have a situation with law enforcement, and I mentioned Sarah again. You know, look what happened to her, bundled and effectively beaten up by the old Bill for nothing more than flying a flag off the end of a council building. People are getting arrested for saying things. Have you seen the most craziest video that's doing the rounds today? Have a listen to this.
So I've been sat around there all this time, yet you decide to come and talk to me when I'm leaving.
Okay. Well, if you're going back for me, you're under arrest for Section 4A public order offence.
Just give us your camera.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
We'll explain the circumstances.
Listen, all I'm going to say is, do you guys really want to do this?
Yes, we do.
Right, you're arresting me for what offence?
Section 4A public order.
Public order for what? Second pictures? Hang on a minute. Are you body cam one? Are you recording? Right, can you identify yourself, please? All of you.
PC 692.
PC 1823.
870.
Sergeant.
1823.
1823.
Yeah. Put your hands to your back then.
Is this really necessary?
At the minute, we don't know if you're carrying anything that might harm us. We don't know anything about you.
Oh, that's a fair.
Can't see your face, so just out of precaution.
All right, let me just speak. That's a fair comment. I'll let you have that.
Right, yeah,
but I don't have anything what's going to harm you.
Everybody says that to us, don't they?
And I'm actually just going to go in lobby because it's a beautiful lobby.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some because I ain't got any stills. I'm
My
going to
colleague's
take some
going to tell you
stills and
the circumstances for why you've been arrested.
Am I being arrested or being detained?
Been arrested, I just said the caution.
Arrested?
Yeah.
Well, what have I done wrong?
Are you with the caution?
Section 4A public order.
Do you know the caution again, or are you?
Well, what have I done? Tell me what I've done.
There's been a member of the public who you've apparently been shouting at and calling him a muppet.
Right, I'm up it. Yeah, and
You caused him alarm and distress.
She's very upset
right.
about it.
Well, I'm gonna be straight with you guys now.
Don't
Right.
forget you're under caution.
You're under caution.
I can feel you shaking. I can feel shaking. Calm down.
shaking, mate.
Calm down. You are shaking.
Right, you've got your
I'm gonna,
rights.
I'm going
Don't
to tell
talk
you now.
about it.
I'm going
Should we go into the office?
Yeah.
calling somebody a
Before you
muppet.
go ahead,
You heard that right. That bloke got nicked for calling somebody a muppet. We've got things like that happening all over the country, literally every single day. I saw another video, which I haven't placed on here, of a protest where a guy in a wheelchair, granted, we don't agree with what he was protesting and who he was supporting, where he was, but he got nicked and they physically lifted him out of his wheelchair and carried him off. This is happening every single day. What are the police being allowed to do? Where does that funnel through? This is another major problem for the Home Secretary to get her head around. Will she? I'm not so sure. But let's turn for a second towards the kind of protests that we're getting out on the street. Let's turn to why this is occurring. Now, when you get people of other demographics in Parliament, you end up with problems and you end up with issues coming from other places that go along with them. And this is something that I I really can't twist my head around, because at the end of the day, this is the island of Britain. We're Scotland, Wales, and England, and the problems that we have should be the ones that we're dealing with, nothing else. Now, I want to show you something which I got out the other day, and it's called the Acts of Settlement. What you have to understand is there is a system of law within England which is also shared by the people of Wales to an extent. I know they had their own laws at some point, but the English kind of thing took precedent. And there's a very interesting passage right here, and I will highlight it. Now, this document was created in 1700, that after the said limitation shall take effect, as foresaid, no person born out of the kingdoms of England, Scotland, or Ireland, or the dominions thereunto belonging, although he be made a denizen, except such as are born of English parents, shall be capable to be of the Privy Council, a member of either the House of Parliament, or to enjoy any office or place of trust, either civil or military, or be granted lands. Now, that Acts of Settlement, that over 300-year-old document, basically says to you that unless you were born of English parents, not parent, parents, you can't be an MP. You can't be a councillor. You can't be a police officer. You can't be anything that puts you in a position where you could have influence on the state. Interesting. And what's even more interesting is the fact that that was repealed by a later act, the British Nationality Act, 1948, and there's a later one, 1981. And if I share the screen here, in the 1948 Act, Schedule 4, and in the 1981 Act, Schedule 7, there is a series of amendments to earlier acts. And you can see here, Act of Settlement, that said the limitation shall take effect right up until Republic of Ireland. That entire section was repealed. And the effect that allows the likes of Mahmood, David Lammy, not born of English parents, to hold places of authority in Parliament, the police, and everything else. This is what happens when these laws and everything are played with. This is what happens when people are ignorant to what's going on. This is what happens when people don't get politically engaged. We allow it to happen because we don't know any different. Now, one of the big things that is being spoken about again is digital IDs. This is another thing that the Home Office, the Prime Minister, could actually pull a bit, have a part in forcing through. And I want to play an interesting video here, again, by Ms. Mahmood, our new Home Secretary.
ID in the future in order to, one of the reasons to be to tackle migration?
Well, look, my long-term personal political view has always been in favour of ID cards. In fact, I supported the last Labour government's introduction of ID cards. The first bill I spoke on in Parliament was the ID cards bill, which the then Conservative Lib Dem coalition scrapped. So I have a long-standing position, which anybody who's familiar with my...
Because it wasn't in the manifesto, was that a mistake?
Well, I have a long-standing position of my own, which those who are familiar with my political track record will know that is something that I've always supported. And look, my other colleagues in government have started this conversation about how we might roll out more digital ID. As Home Secretary, I'm very clear we do have to deal with the pull factors that are making the UK a destination of choice for those that are on the move around the world, and I want to make sure that we can clamp down on that. I think that a system of digital ID can also help with illegal working, enforcement of other laws as well. So there is a broader piece of work here to be done by government, but I do think that that has a role to play for dealing with our migration system as well.
Forgive me, could we be in a situation where everybody would be compelled to have a digital ID at some point?
Well, the government's position at the moment is to look at digital ID, further rollout. I'll obviously be discussing that with my colleagues, some of whom are also, like me, new to the role, but we will be setting out our plans in the very near future about how we want to deal with the pull factors. The Prime Minister has also been clear. We have got to deal not just with disrupting the trade in people that is bringing people across the channel, but we've also got to deal with some of the reasons why they're getting in the boat in the first place, looking to come to the UK and to our...
So what they're basically saying, they're using the crisis, and let's face it, it is a crisis, what's going on over the channel, as an excuse to once again try and push this digital ID on everybody. And it's a very dangerous thing to be talking about. And there's many of you in the comments that can see and are saying no to this digital ID. Now, what you have to realize is these people that come across the channel, they, in the majority, don't have any ID on them because they're slinging the drink. So they don't have any ID. Now, the rest of us, I don't know about you. Let's take me, for example. When I was born, a birth certificate was generated. When I turned 16, I got an issue with a national insurance number and got one of those little plastic red and blue cards. Do you remember them? When I was 17, I started to learn how to drive. When I was 18, I got a driver's license. I had my first foreign holiday when I was 18, so I needed a passport. That's 4 forms of ID right there that say who I am, the fact I'm English, and the fact I have a right to live and work in the UK. So why would I need a separate Brit card to tell me something I can already prove? It's a very simple answer to that question: control. If this is allowed to happen, it could all be very nice and rosy all of the time, but the second you allow it to happen, the government has control. And the second anybody doesn't say anything that you're supposed to, or says something you're not supposed to, they can take everything away from you and leave you destitute. So again, I emphasize this idea, this digital ID, as it were, very bad, very bad. And you can see all the parts and pieces being moved into place. And as I called the title of this live stream, very dangerous decision. Now, I'm going to go to a bit of audience reaction. Before I do, can I ask everybody this evening, if you haven't, please hit the thumbs up on this. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, or you're a regular watcher and haven't yet. It's free to do. And whatever you do, share me on your social media. Appreciate it very much. Now, let's see. Anyone else considering searching for kitten/puppy videos to get away from the world, or is it just me? Bloody well feels like that, doesn't it? What's going on in the world right now, and we just want to step off for a time. And I think YouTube, being what it is, there's plenty of those videos to take your pick. Thank you for the comment. I vote for renaming of the Home Office to the... Yeah, that's the way it's looking, isn't it? And, you know, some comparisons have been made. Murray, Andy, I really think the people need to go to Parliament and protest there, and not to move until government pay attention to us. There are enough people to be there every day till it gets sorted. You know, one thing that I'm noticing at the moment is the mainstream media is very quiet. They're not saying anything about what's going on countrywide. I mean, in the position I'm in, I hear literally all sorts from everywhere. And, you know, there's a lot more going on than you would think. Lad, why is Home Secretary supporting a prescribed... Exactly. You know, as soon as you see that picture there doing what she's doing, end of story. She shouldn't be in that job. She shouldn't be there anyway, according to what I showed you with the Axis settlement. It's beginning to feel like that, Jilly. I mean, a comparison was made earlier about Iran in the 1970s, and roll forward to now. Katie, I think I agree with you, because at the end of the day, you can either be that incompetent or you can be seen to be that incompetent. It can be a planned, what are we going to do to screw everyone over? You know, I completely agree with you. Not if it persecutes Christians. Yeah, I mean, everybody talks about everything else, don't they? But we forget that. Infiltrated everywhere. That name there, Fabian, I suggest everybody does a lot of research on this now. And, you know, you will see the lengths these people have gone to. It's really quite scary. Andy Cameron, croaky cabby. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's the matter with me. Every now and again, I go on a bit of a diet, a particular diet, just to shed a few pounds, where I kind of go a bit mad with, I suppose, what you could call junk food. And one of the things it does is makes my throat go all croaky. I can't understand it. It happens every single time, but I'll go in have a nice couple drink or something. Andrew Dighton, you know as well as I do that she will just let more come in. I honestly don't think I've ever known anybody so incompetent as Starmer. I agree with you. You know, it's all words, isn't it? You know, we're going to do this. We're going to smash the gangs. It's bollocks, absolute bollocks, all of it. Now, what I suggest is they're not allowed to make landfall. If you come here illegally, then your right to be here at all should be removed. If you enter this country illegally, you've committed a criminal offence. And even if you came here, I ask the questions: who are you? Where you come from? What do you want to do? Can you financially support yourself? They talk about hotels. They talk about military barracks. I don't think any of this should be landfall here. You need a processing centre somewhere to send them to, work out who they are, what they want, and arrange safe-ish transportation back to the countries they came from. That's what I would like to see, but there's not the political will for that. There's not the political hunger for it. Elegant Rebel, they can trace people who comment on X, but they can't trace the purchase of millions of life jackets and hundreds of boats. It's a joke, isn't it? I mean, somebody said earlier, a lot of them are gathered up and sent back for the next batch. How are we allowing that to happen? If this was genuine, if this was really a genuine crisis, destroy the boats when they come in and the people are emptied. Destroy the boats. That would be a bit of a disruption, wouldn't it? Instead, we get the odd token one every now and again where the French do something to it. Jilly, because they're only a small majority that truly believe in God in the UK, Andy. Yeah, I'm not a religious person. You know, I have certain beliefs. Is there more than what we have now? It's a question everybody asks every day. But I'm aware of what this country is, or what this country's supposed to be, and it's really disturbing what's happening to it. See, lad, how is a prescribed organisation supporter allowed as Home Secretary? Isn't it illegal by its own law? You would think so. And again, a dangerous decision. It sets a dangerous precedent. And, you know, one of the crazy things that we're criticising her, you know, she's obviously had a long legal career and done her bit. But, you know, criticising her in the position she now holds, we would all be called racist far-right lunatics. And that's lunacy in itself. Blue Angel 10, we won't be able to have a house to ourselves soon. They've got to go somewhere. You know, it's been said if you clear the hotels out, they'll just be moved somewhere. That's no good. That's no good. Phil, the Fabians, who have infested virtually every part of the establishment, despise the UK and everything the country stands for. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about this earlier, about a matter that we were both involved in, and that really raises its eyebrow right there. It does. Cosmic Wartoad, all right, you lot. If Parliament can disrupt our mobile calls with their fear-mongering alerts, they can access our internet accounts, access our emails, and disrupt our internet connections. They could try. I don't know if anybody got caught out by that the other day. I actually came home from the shops. Well, it was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, yesterday or the day before. And I was putting some stuff in the fridge. And all of a sudden, my mobile phone started making this horrible bloody noise. I thought, what the hell was that? I looked, and it was the emergency test. I had intended to disable it, and I totally and utterly forgot. And my boy upstairs, you know, what the hell's going on? He come flying downstairs. He didn't know what was happening. You're making me feel sick. I'm terribly sorry, David. Apologies for that. Hope I can make you feel better soon. Paul Wright and Hayward, if civil unrest can be caused, then more controlling laws can be introduced. There is a piece of legislation that was introduced under the Blair era. I think it was called the Civil Contingencies Act. And if they get an excuse to implement that, they can bloody do all sorts. So I wonder why, you know, is it heading in that direction? You've got to wonder. G. Hammer, WEF want digital ID to track everybody. This is the point I'm making. If this is allowed to happen, it's over. They control you, they track you, and they can tell you about everything. It cannot be allowed to happen. And the excuse that it's the migrants to control that is bollocks. At the end of the day, we all have the ID that we need to get by in life. We can all prove who we are. We don't need anything else. And the more people that stand up and say this, the better. Lakeside Thurrock has just been bought by Google. Why? That's interesting. Is that all of it, Martin? The whole thing? I wasn't aware of that. I'd be interested to find out why, for sure. If anybody's local to that area and knows anything, let me know. Seems like that, doesn't it? Absolutely seems like that. And Craig, those coppers said they couldn't see his face. So does everyone receive that treatment if they can't see their face? It just seems like any excuse at the moment, doesn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, the general public will end up turning if they're not careful. And then what? I think the adage is there's more of us than them. How did Mrs. R manage to sell her 25% to the son's trust? She had already sold 50% to his trust. Thing is, he waited until their demise. He would have had it all anyway. What kind of trustees are they? I'm sure it'll all come out in the wash. I'm really absolutely sure. Well, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in and listening. And a few of your comments there. Sorry it was a bit late, but I didn't want to clash with Paul because that was an important interview he did just send. Just to let you know, I'll obviously be here in between now and then, but on Thursday, I will be talking to Graham Moore, leader of the English Constitution Party. Thursday is a very important day because, as you regular channel viewers will know, he has taken legal action over the result of the Runcorn and Helsby by-election. And the 11th of September at 10:30 a.m. is when he will be made aware of what that judgment is. Basically, he's applied to get it to go to trial, you know, to do certain things. But I won't go any further than that because that'll be for Graham to explain. So make sure you tune in for that on Thursday. That will be very interesting. I'm going to go. Please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share me with your friends. I will see you all tomorrow for hopefully one or two more bits and pieces. And as always, I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.